Welcome to your Libra horoscopes for the week of the 21st to the 27th of April, the last full week of April. The end of the Mercury retrograde is this week on Wednesday, which is really exciting news. And of course, you Libras are right on the front line to really enjoy those last few days of that Mercury retrograde. And I say that with as much sarcasm as I can muster, because of course, we are going to kick off the week with a Libra moon. And if the Mercury retrograde is in Aries, your opposite sign, guess what? You're full in opposition with Mercury, literally all 3 days, first 3 days of the week. Basically, the last 3 full days of the Mercury retrograde are probably going to be the most challenging for you that they have been throughout the entirety of the retrograde, which is very unfortunate. We're kicking off Sunday with the moon literally just entering Libra. And it is, as it comes into Libra, it's in an opposition with Mercury and Neptune, but already Mercury. So all 3 days, Mercury, 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 basically. And so Sunday and Monday, the moon in an opposition with Mercury, Neptune the first day. We add Venus in it the second day and leave Neptune the second day. And this creates a bit of a challenge because the moon's focus one is on emotional thoughts, taking over your logic, which is not necessarily a good thing, but something that does happen to Libras actually quite a bit. Even though Libras are intellectual signs, they feel things so very deeply. And this is why balance is so important for Libras, because you're logical, but ruled by a very feminine, very creative, and semi-emotional planet of Venus. So you have a little bit of both. You got to use both simultaneously, or it's a struggle between the two all the time. Add the moon into play here, which is another very emotional planet. And what's very difficult about this is that the moon moves from focus on the mind to focus on the home. In opposition with planets, they're focused on your career and your career goals. And as we round out those 3 days on Tuesday, the moon also moves into a square with Pluto at the same time, creating a very big challenge as all three of these elements kind of sort of come together to create these challenge. And in some cases, it's going to feel like everything that you've worked so hard for towards your career, it seems like nobody is supporting you in that. It feels like you're having to defend what you're doing to the people around you. Now, there's a couple of things that can come from that, actually. One is that if everybody around you is you having to defend yourself, you might want to look at why. In many cases, yes, it does, there are certain um circumstances, like when I came out as a psychic, for example, a psychic medium and wanted to be professional. Yes, I had to defend that with everybody because everybody was like, really? You're gonna like make a living off of that? You're nuts, right? Nobody understood it. I get that. I had to explain myself over and over again until I finally just said, I'm not explaining it. If you're either gonna support me or you're not. I'm not gonna really, I don't really care about that. But also, there's the flip side to that as well, which is what if was like really the dumbest thing that I could do? And everybody's sitting here telling me that's just really not going to work out for you. I think you should rethink that. The truth of the matter is that people see what we don't see in situations. And sometimes we're so emotionally wrapped up in the situation that we're either choosing to not see the things that we don't want to see, or we just are blinded to it, period. That happens a lot. And so as this challenge is sort of coming together, those first few days of the week, it's going to kind of feel like everybody is against you. And then the moon's just going to leave and things just sort of calm down. Now you're just dealing with the backlash of that. My advice really is for this is that you do need to take what other people are saying into consideration to a point. Make sure that, when you're looking at it, that you're not missing something or you're not deliberately blinding yourself to something specific because you don't want to see it. One thing that I know about Libras is that they always want to see the good in a situation. And that's a beautiful thing, unless you're blinding yourself to the bad. Then it's a bad thing. The other thing is, I also tend to look at when it feels like everybody is against me in a situation, that means they're scared. And it could be because they feel you're going to get hurt. But in some cases, it could also be because they feel like you're going to move past them and they're trying to keep you down. So you want to make sure that you're looking at it in the right way also. And that means taking some time because the moon is involved. You don't want your emotions to make these decisions. That's going to mean argument after argument with everybody around you. And that's not what you want to do. Instead, take what they say into consideration and take some time to analyze it for yourself and take a look at it and see if there might be some truth in there. You will know intuitively if there's truth in there or not. Believe me, you will. Even the most ardent fighter against the truth still knows that they're what truth they're fighting against. Now, the moon moves out, the dark moon moves in just a couple of days later. And mind you, the moon in Libra is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. The retrograde ends on Wednesdays. It's literally the last days of the week or the last days of the retrograde. And as the moon moves out, the dark moon or the Lilith moves in. And what's interesting about this is the dark moon's all about promoting change. And she's like, make that change right now. So it's going to kind of feel like all of a sudden the truth is coming out all around you. And you're kind of forced to change how you approach the situation, how you think about the situation, because truth will always out itself. It always does. And Libras, one of the most important things to Libras is truth. So my advice is don't fight this, because the more you fight it, the less you see. If you let this kind of just sort of wash over you and wash through you and happen to you, the information that comes out of it is what's really valuable here. That's what's going to help you decide, am I doing this for the right reasons? Am I doing this for my success and not somebody else's success, or not because somebody else wants me to do it, or blah, 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 whatever. Everybody has to make that very individual decision for themselves. So it's a bit of a wonky week for you guys at the beginning. Things get to be smooth sailing there towards the end. So that's what I have for you guys this week. I'm going to put you all in beautiful pink bubbles of love because you're going to need it for sure. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, you guys just kick some butt and make it a great week. No matter what happens, that's what you guys are good at, right? And this too shall pass. I swear it will. I'll see you next week. Make it a great week.